This is probably the best defensive chess technique ever. Computers won't teach you this. This is super important, and it's kind of psychological way. Let's dive to it. Like white is playing, it's rated about 2000, black is 2300, and the game went on to play like bishop b5 check, c3, knight f6, queen e2. The pawn was attacked and it's defended, so a6, bishop a4, b5 attacking again, bishop c2, and bishop to b7, adding more pressure to the pawn. Good. Castling short, e5, which is a good move probably, d4, bishop to e7, and it's kind of now Spanish pawn structures, but anyways, it's fine, no problem. Rook d1, queen c7, and now d takes e5. Normally d5 was a good idea as the bishop won't be active here, but no problem. This is not our subject. We're not discussing opening here. If you are interested in openings, you can check out our videos on openings. We dig deep there, However, here d takes e5 was played, d takes e5 was played, and now I hope you have watched my video about the most important strategy in chess, where I talked about weak squares and how to make use of them. In this position, a weak square is the d5 square. And the weak square is a weak square is a square that cannot be protected by a pawn ever and can be used. So, can I put a knight here? It's a question that black or white is asking, and white hoped his opponent will help him with this idea of c4. And this is kind of a hope chess. White is doing a hope chess. Like, I am playing this hoping my opponent will be cooperative here and allow me to play knight c3. And if that happened, actually black is or white is doing great. Maybe at least fine. White saw this idea and knew that this is a weak square and the knight is going to come, so he played b4, which is actually a strong move. So there is no knight c3, knight d5. After that, white decided to play bishop g5, and now black castled long, which is a very risky decision. However, knight b2, d2, and now black wanted to make use of the d4 square, and he played knight f8, a3 trying to open things up. However, knight e6 attacking the bishop. The bishop went back, bishop e3, and now knight h5. Fighting for f4 square, fighting for d4 square. Sounds good. So far, so good. Knight b3, knight h2, f4 attacking the queen. Bishop takes f4 was not the greatest move ever, but knight takes f4 and now queen e3. Adding more pressure to the c5 pawn. And the knight went back, knight e6. Now in this position, white has a weak square, which is a d4 square, and the knight is coming. And when the knight is coming, like for example, if you go h3, if you kick this knight away by whatever, then a passer, a protected passer is going to be created. Which is actually very, very dangerous. The computer says white is fine, but bear me a second. Though, here in this position, this is where that defensive technique has to be approached. Now, when your opponent is going to be strategically better, and you are about to get a worse position, you know that your opponent is going to do this. And my position is going to be worse. My position is going to be bad. Here, you need to react. You need to make it as tough as possible that your opponent will not get what he or she wanted. This is actually a very important because we are a human. We're not computers. We should not find the best move, but find the most practical move in this position. Before you go knight d4 and closing the file, the best defensive move was rook d5. I am improving my rook. If you go knight d4, I won't be too unhappy as my rook now is playing and you are not blocking the d file. This move, such a move, is super annoying for black. Black is completely unhappy seeing such a move in or such a rook in his area. And now, what makes this sacrifice so interesting is that if you want to accept the sacrifice is that now if you look about the pawn structure, it's almost located on dark squares. that's a sign that light squares are weak. And the one who protects the light squares is the bishop. So now you are sacrificing an exchange. You are not helping your opponent to do whatever he or she wanted. And now, in the meantime, you are creating problems in light squares. Believe it or not, computer likes this idea, and he said white is much better. 1.2 advantage. What an idea! What a concept! We will see another example later on. So in the game, actually, white decided not to do that, and he played rook takes d8, and closing things up with this idea of a4, like depriving himself with any kind of counter-attacking on the a file. And after a4, simply king b8, now rook d1, hoping to play rook d5 or exchange more things on the file. No, you missed the chance. If now you're black and black is worse, then consider such a move, rook d4. Such a move is kind of accepted in this position. Okay, so knight d4 was played and was chosen, and now this rook actually is dead, and black is kind of squeezed, yeah? Or white kind of squeezed, sorry. So knight b takes d4, and now c takes d4, a protected passer, a bishop pair, strategically winning position. Try to survive, like, but I mean, again, f5 is coming, and you cannot actually avoid opening the position. The bishop is improved. Rega, rega, teka, teka. Queen c6, king g1. h5 slowly, slowly. f5, f5 came. And after f5, f3. Simply h4. And now rook to d1. After rook to d1, queen f6. The queen is improved. As you can see, some dark squares weaknesses. And then king h1, rook c7. Actually, I don't really care how the game ended, but I just wanted to show you the point. King c5, this is actually a great move. Why? This is a great move to stop c5. Maybe here in this position, maybe here in this position. Again, white should have played c5. Whatever happens, happens, but at least fight. Do not lose a game of chess without a fight. That's actually the worst kind of lose. Yeah, okay, I am losing, but at least I put up a fight. So after rook e1, king c5, rook to d1, bishop to c8, rook e1 back, queen g5, king h1. Actually, it's a slow game, and bishop b7, bishop c6, bishop e3. The bishop is improved, the queen is improved, and now the penetration just happening. Queen e3, queen g3. I like actually how was or how patient was black. Take rook takes g4. Some ideas like h3 probably is good as well. So bishop takes e4, everything is just exchanged, and after h takes g2, check, and another check, one more check, check again, check, rook f4, and just exchange everything and win with these two passers. Actually, king here, c5, and now the pawn is gone, and d2 actually won the game. And now in this position, maybe probably in this position, white resigned the game. Guys, I hope this is clear. This is super, super duper important. By the way, this is the second video about must know defensive technique. The first video and the whole playlist, I already created a playlist. You will find it at the end of the video, yeah? One more example. Here, it's opposite colored bishops middle game. By the way, if you're interested, we will talk about the opposite colored bishop for a separated video. That will be interesting topic. Write me in the comments, please, and consider subscribing if you haven't yet. So here in this position, it's the opposite colored bishop, but briefly, in the opposite colored bishop middle game or end game, the bishop who works will give a much better advantage and a much better position for the side he owns. For example, here in this position, this is the opposite colored bishop, but in this moment, this bishop is not working and this bishop is not working. Both bishops are bad. However, white played a fantastic move, which is bishop to d1. Why this is a fantastic move? Now white wanted to play bishop b3, and that will be a monster. Not a bishop, a monster. For example, king h8, bishop b3, and now see the bishop is here. Oh, what a bishop. What a bishop. Like attacking here and they're attacking everywhere, you know? Black saw that coming, and he said, I won't let that happen. Whatever I do, I won't let you having a bishop along this diagonal. Even though if you are not winning, you will be happy, I will be unhappy. No. Either we both happy or we both unhappy. And black played d5. Fantastic move. The point of d5 is, I wanted to improve my bishop. And if you will take with the pawn, then you will no longer have your bishop here along the diagonal being happy alone. So in the game, rook takes d5 happened, rook takes d5, and now queen takes d5 was not a great move as rook d8 is coming, and after rook d8 there will be rook d2 ideas, and bishop c5 is coming, and the bishop is happy. That's why e takes d5, and white said, okay, no problem, I will go e d5, probably next I'll go d6 and opening things up, but black decided not to allow this, and he played bishop d6 with a fantastic compensation. And here it's a game for both sides, for 3 results. White can win, black can win, and it might be a draw. And the amount of happiness shared in the game for white and for black are or is almost the same. You're happy 40%, I am happy 40%, everything is fine. You're unhappy, I am unhappy, everything is fine. The worst case scenario, to be unhappy and your opponent will be happy. This is as simple as you can understand. I hope this one is useful, this video is useful for you, and you find some defensive techniques. I do believe no matter what your level is, if you are 1000 and you're playing against another 1000, I'm sure you will understand that there will be a threat and he's threatening to do 1, 2, 3. If you manage to stop his 1, 2, 3, even though you don't have an idea about what you're doing, but just preventing his threats, he will be unhappy, and that will have a huge effect on your game. Hope you find this useful. Thanks for watching. See you in another one. Have a nice day.